Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Al's Agrology Mecca. Today we are looking at Human and Social Biology School-Based Assessment Part 5. Now if you missed Part 1 to 4, visit Al's Agrology Mecca. Please remember to subscribe, comment, like, and share. Subscribe so that when new information is posted, you will be the first to know. Alright, let's go. So we are looking at the title of the project. Now the title of the project would be on your cover page. The cover page would consist of the candidate's name, candidate's number, center name, center number, the teacher's name, the territory, and also the year of examination. And on your cover page, you'll put the title of the project. Now, students should research only one variable per project. So you can look at any of the example here. The effects of improper garbage disposal on a named community. So you'll give the community a name. The effects of or impact of smoking or secondhand smoking on human health. Overweight or obesity among students or members of a named community. The effects of sweetened beverages on students' health or members of the community or among senior citizens. Effects of alcohol abuse on the family or students' education, or the effects of illegal dumping on a named community. Now for your background and your overview of issue. So for the background information should provide a clear, detailed description of a current health related or environmental related issue. The background information should not just consist of a series of definitions. So the background information should be related to the student's own territory or community. Now sometimes students can have a lot of information about an issue, but it is not clear. Remember that your overview of the issue or your background information should be detailed and it should be clear. Statement of the problem or the research objective. So the problem statement and research objective should be clearly stated. Problem statement can be an observation or a question. Students should identify or label the problem statement and the research objective. The research objective must be linked to the issue being researched. The objective of the research must also be realistic or feasible. The research objective should not be too wide or broad to investigate. And the research objective should be linked to the problem statement. Ensure that your problem statement is labeled. So you have problem statement and you indicate what your problem statement is. Label your research objective. So you have research objective and you label what your research objective or indicate what your research objective is. Alright, to your methodology. The method of data collection must be identified and clearly described. Students should state clearly the method of data collection, whether it's face-to-face or how was it done in person or is it online. Now if it's in person, did you distribute individually or via second hand? Or if it's online, did you email it or you use Google Forms or WhatsApp? The method of data collection should also be adequately justified. Now, why did you use face-to-face or why was it online distribution? Why was questionnaire or survey used? Was it easier or it allows you to reach more persons, or it allows for more privacy among the sample. Is it less time consuming? Is it better to collect large amount of data from a large sample? Justify your data method of data collection. The sample should be clearly identified and described. For example, age range of sample, students of what grade? So how old are they? Grade 7 to 9, 10 to age 10 to 14. Are they members of a particular community? Are they elderly persons? Are they math teacher, a language teacher, nurses, farmers? Identify your sample and describe the sample. The limitation of the data collection method must be clearly stated. What are some of the things beyond your control that affected the distribution and collection of data? Is it that persons might not be truthful in giving their responses? Or you might not get back some of the instruments handed out or distributed? Or some of the answers or questions might left unanswered? So give your limitation and ensure that it is identified. So your teacher shouldn't be looking around to find your limitation. The data collection instrument must be clearly identified and described. Are you using survey, questionnaire, observation, or polls? Right? Identify your data collection instrument and describe it. How many questions and what type of questions are used? So identify and describe your data collection instrument. Presentation of data. The data presented should be accurate and based on the research project. The data should be presented in an appropriate form. At least 2 forms should be used. So you can use bar or line graph and charts, or bar or line graphs and tables, or charts and tables. At least 2 forms. Forms used for presentation of data should be correctly labeled. So you should have appropriate heading, and headings should be related to the information in the table or chart or graph presented. Now you are going to analyze the data that you have presented. So you'll have your analysis and interpretation of data. The data should be analyzed using the appropriate calculations or statistics or themes. For example, 80% of the respondents indicated that air pollution triggered their asthma. So the data that you are analyzing must be summarized accurately. While there are efforts to summarize your data accurately, please ensure that the overall statements of the findings are stated and are based on the data presented. At least 2 statements of the findings should be stated, and they should be easily identified. So after analyzing and interpreting your data, you're going to head up as a subheading statements of the findings, and you're going to indicate your 2 statements of the findings. You can do more, at least 2. The findings should be consistent with your analysis. So you can't be giving findings for something else apart from what you have analyzed or your research. Conclusion and recommendations. The conclusion should be succinctly summarize the project. The conclusion should be logical and based on your findings. There is no need to write a page of conclusion. The conclusion should be concise, but it should summarize effectively or properly summarize your project. There should be at least 2 recommendations proposed. The recommendations should be realistic and informed by findings from the research done. For your reflection, Students should indicate 2 lessons learned after undertaking the project. So students should indicate how their behavior was changed based on what was learned. Students should apply the study to his or her personal life based on the findings. Students should state how the project could be improved. For example, you could extend the project to other schools if it's a school-related issue, or to other communities if it's a community-related issue. Or you could add more questions to your instrument, or you could use more than one instrument. You should also indicate in your reflection your social impact and your economic impact. Now, your social and economical impact of the issue on the school or community, if it is not rectified, should be clearly stated. So for social impact, what if you realize that improper disposal of garbage cause flooding in your community? What can be some social impact from that, right? So it can cause flooding, can cause diseases, persons getting ill. Economic impact, persons have to spend a lot of money going to the doctor, and impact on the healthcare system. All right? Reflection should be done based on the findings from the research. Reflection should be done based on the mark scheme requirement. And all aspects of the reflection should be stated based on the findings. Now, when you're applying this study to your personal life and you realize that improper disposal of garbage causes flooding in your community, how are you going to apply that to your personal life? Are you going to package your garbage properly instead of throwing them in the gully? How are you going to apply it to your personal life? All right, so you indicate how that will be applied. For your overall presentation, students should include raw data in the appendix so that accuracy of the statistics presented can be verified. A sample of the questionnaire should be placed in the appendix. The layout of report should follow the correct format, including the cover page, table of content, bibliography, and appendices, including all that we have covered already. Bibliography information should contain name of authors, publishers, and date of publication. Students should use more than one reference. Students should ensure correct spellings and grammar throughout their project. Alright, so that's it for part 5 of the Human and Social Biology SBA. Remember to visit Al's Agrology Mecca. Remember to subscribe, comment, like, and share. Stay tuned for part 6 of the Human and Social Biology SBA.